Okay, so hi guys, how are you all doing today? Welcome back to my channel. My name is Chinyere of juliettsstyleglam. This is the first time here with me. Thank you so much for being here. And if you're already subscribed to my channel, you are awesomely, truly welcome. How are we all doing? Okay, so today, we're going to be talking about how Bmake Lively showed us who she really is. Yeah. So you may be wondering why I decided to do this video now. I kind of decided that, sometimes when videos are making just allow it die down, so that we can all filter through the noise. So, and yeah, not just Bmake Lively, but possibly her husband. So, yeah, if we all recall, she made this movie. This movie was about domestic violence, and it was from the adaptation of the book by Colleen Hoover, titled "It Ends With Us." Now, I had been so interested in this movie because, I mean, as you all know, and so I had my hopes up, and I really was vested and waited for this movie. Now, before now, guys, I'm going to tell you something. Before now, Bmake Lively could do no wrong to me. Like, she was that person for me, I even had I have a video where she prepared cocktails, I think, and I also have another video where she was at the Michael Kors show. And at the time when this movie came out, I began to watch a rerun of Gossip Girl because it's on Netflix. So, I had high expectations, right, for this movie, and I will tell you that I am disappointed, and not at the movie, and but I'm disappointed at the person that came through. And I began to question, okay, so who is this person? Who is this lady I'm actually, seeing right now? All right, let's see if I can adjust this thing a little bit more. Okay, so I was like, who is this person I'm seeing? So we're going to start from, I mean, if we all recall, during the press tour, I was a little bit flabbergasted, because I was like, okay, she was talking about wearing florals and grabbing your florals, take your popcorn, and at the same time she launched an alcohol, her alcohol brand, and she also launched her hair brand. Now, I'm not saying that any of those things are wrong. I mean, she has the right to be able to launch her brand. In all honesty, I mean, every celebrity has one side gig or the other. It's allowed, right? But then what was quite painful to watch was the blatant disrespect and lack of research and knowledge on her part on what domestic violence was really all about. And I get the impression that the only person that actually and truly prepared for this movie was the director, Justin Baldoni. Now, it all came to a head for me, actually, when I began to feel uneasy, in all honesty, was when I saw the post, I think it was on Instagram, by Justin Baldoni, talking about having had back injury, and he needed to know how much Bmake Lively weighed for the scene that he had to lift her up, and because there were things, there was a circulation of her saying that she was fat shamed. So at that moment, it was such a, I just believed that it was BS, right? From the get-go, when I actually saw that post and heard the fat shaming. And that was when I began to pull back. Listen, I have been an excitable Bmake Lively and Ryan Reynolds fan just because I felt like, Ryan is quite witty, but now I'm not looking at that witty anymore. I think that is actually who he is. It's not him being witty. And sometimes as individuals, we have certain characteristics of us, as a defense mechanism. Like, I have my friend, she laughs in pain, she laughs in the face of adversity, she laughs when things are supposed to be serious and it's not, and she's laughing, and it's not from a place of malice. It's a defense mechanism for her, and I understand that because I noticed it from the beginning, and I knew that something was up. And so I recall, as time went on, I now began to notice her patterns. I was like, okay, it's a defense mechanism. So I actually feel like Ryan Reynolds' unwittiness, or wittiness, is a sort of defense mechanism. And so we jump into this story. I've watched the movie, by the way, and it was a beautiful movie up until the end. I think, in all honesty, that she delivered her role. Justin, both of them, they delivered their role perfectly to the letter, And I recall in the movie, I was, when he first pushed her. No, it wasn't the first time. The first time when he poured the hot meal from the oven on her. I rewound that part of the movie so many times because I really wanted to know what I saw, what happened really. I couldn't get what happened. And so yes, you will all understand that, for me, that this movie was supposed to show DV survivors, victors and victorias. It was supposed to show us that there were actually different forms to domestic violence, and that you could actually get out of it, and all it took for you was to, actually realize what was going on and say enough. And there was one of the scenes where Justin Baldoni's sister in the movie came to him and came to Blake and said, that's Lily Bloom, and said, here's my brother, but get out and stuff like that. So it was a movie that made sense up until the last part, where she began to question and ask him something about if it's your daughter, blah, 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 blah. I was like, okay, how is this happening? How did he get there? Then we now go back to the stories and the rumors we heard during the promotion of the movie, where eventually Ryan Reynolds wrote and they changed, the ending of the movie, which, in my opinion, is not how the book went. Okay? So, I think she also came out with, Blake actually came out with, she came out with a communique on her page, on her Instagram. I'm going to look for it and attach it here. But it made no sense to me. And it made no sense to me because what I have understood from up until this moment about her, about she and her husband, is the fact that up until this moment as we speak, she still has not understood the gravity of the situation. She has not understood what she did wrong, because if she did understand what she did wrong, then she wouldn't be silent up until this moment. And I think there was an attempt at some PR which flopped because emotions were strife. And you see, the thing about it is that with people like this, this is their world, this is their turf. Being, this type of people who are rude and, nasty. This is their world, this is their turf. They know how to play the mean girls very well. And there is a bit of a standoffish arrogance, and we could also talk about excessive, I will call it arrogance. I don't want to use pride, because sometimes I think that sometimes we misuse the word pride. She has a lot to be proud of. If to be honest, she has a lot to be proud of. Yes, I will. Oh gosh. I will say that she has been. Just a second. Oh, I didn't switch on my. I didn't switch it on. Okay, so it is on now. So you're going to hear my video without my microphone. I'm sorry. Yeah. So anyway, like I was saying, so the thing with her type of person, and again, it's not just her type of person. I think one thing we fail to we as individuals, and I think this is across board, in the wake of all that has been happening in the world of celebrities today. And I think as individuals, there is something we always forget. And one of the things we always forget is that celebrities are people. They are human beings. They exist in a world outside of our world that normal people actually thrive. And so, those who actually know them are very few and far between. Many of them even do not have friends if you check their circles. And so I think for most of us, the need for us to be able to attach or relate with them in the sense of, as people, that live next door. I think it's erroneous on our part. And I also think that sometimes we should also understand that it's our fault as well, not theirs, but ours, for putting them on this pedestal and making them this grandiose characters that they have become, because we love what they do and because we love, their craft. And again, looking at it in another way, there is nothing wrong with loving what they do or the crafts that they pursue. I mean, it is an amazing craft, the arts. It's an amazing craft, So most times, am I expecting her to come with an apology? No. She is not going to apologize. She doesn't want to apologize. She doesn't think she should apologize. So I'm not expecting her to come up with an apology. Her career as it is, because again, when this movie came out, I had every plan to go watch it at the cinema, but I kind of said, oh, with that. But then I now realized very quickly that if I did that, then I'm also punishing Justin Baldoni. And moreover, the movie did well at the box office. So I was like, okay, yeah, win-win. It's not necessarily about her, but it's about the message that, it was supposed to give to us as viewers and as, DV survivors and victors and victorious, So I said, okay, yeah, I was going to go watch it, and I did watch it, and I enjoyed it. I wouldn't lie to you. I enjoyed it. I would not take away from the fact that Bmake is actually a phenomenal actress. Was she the person who was right for that role? I sincerely doubt. I mean, I could have gone with Zoe Saldana. I could have gone with Kristen Stewart. I could have gone with so many other people. There's so many actresses that could have played that role and actually, brought out that character and understood and actually did the research for the character. And I think this is where I mean, because she didn't even read the book. I mean, for the fact that she gets to talk about very mundane things and likening, and I mean, one of the parts of her interview that made me cringe was where she talked about calling or giving your social security number. At that point, I was like, who's this floozy? I mean, everything was a blur. And I'm like, what is she talking about? This cannot be the same movie. Also, I was also wondering the fact that she was talking about DV, and I did a comparison between herself and Justin Baldoni and their interviews and the interviews that she did. The contrast was crazy. Here was a man who spoke, and I'm going to put excerpts if I can, who spoke about an issue and asked the right questions and wanted to really, really expand on this problem that blights our society, and then come up with her who is on cloud 7, thinking about florals, thinking about, and I'm wondering, okay, yeah, maybe she's got a right to think about florals, but this is DV. And so that's why I talk about the fact that the research on her part, and so that's why I say that the research on her part for this role was so minimal, very, very minimal. It was insulting. There was no preparation on her part. There wasn't. And I do like the fact that Justin Baldoni replied and said, oh, now the next installment of this movie, it will be directed by her, and at that point, again, we need to talk about the emotional intelligence of Justin Baldoni and his ability to, speak and make his points across without actually name calling or throwing shade at anyone. And he did it so beautifully and so excellently, and I'm like, bravo. If you did not understand, and I hope Justin Baldoni, I hope you're feeling much better, because I saw on his Instagram where he was using crutches, and then he's talking about the back pain again, his back, and his inability to lift his son up. So I really hope you're doing okay at this point, and so you think about all of this, and you think about how someone who is so involved, and he actually did say during the press conference, he said he was actually afraid to put himself into this movie, both as a director and as an actor, just simply because he did not want to have a biased opinion or a biased point of view coming in, and I from what I notice about Justin Baldoni, I think he's that person who is just about the craft. No drama. He's not interested in that, and it shows clearly in his demeanor, in everything that he does, and how he has portrayed himself so far, in the wake of this movie. I congratulate you, Justin Baldoni, for such a phenomenal job and for such an amazing directional part you played in this movie, and your role as well, because you are, everyone, you're fine, so yes, for me, like I said, this is the real Bmake Lively. Do we expect a different person? I don't think so. I don't think we're going to be expecting a different person. I don't think we should be holding our breath for any form of apology. I do not think we should be expecting, when you're dealing with spoiled brats, because they're just spoiled brats. That's it, so I don't think, we should be expecting anything different. I think the court of public opinion has spoken. Whatever happens to her right now, it's the celebrity world. I'm not part of it. If she did another fantastic movie, will I watch it? Yes, I will. I say this a lot because most times in movies, it's not about the character, it's not about the person, It's about the character that is being brought to life and one's ability to bring that character to life. And so, yes, if she did another movie, I would watch it, right? I'm not saying I will not watch it. It leaves a bad taste in my mouth to actually know her and see her to be this type of person, but that is not her craft. Her person is not her craft, right? So I think it's okay that we allow her craft to thrive because it's her bread and butter. That's how she's able to live, take care of her family, and live a comfortable life with her family, with her husband. So yeah, I think I would go watch any of her movies. That is not to say that I'm impressed with her character. No, I'm not. But it is what it is. Okay. And so yeah, that's it for me on this segment of how Bmake Lively showed us who she is, and possibly Ryan Reynolds. And I'll see you guys. Do not fail. I would love to hear from you on this as well. Leave your comments in the comment section below. I mean, you may not agree with me. I would love to hear from you. If you agree with me, I would love to hear from you. If you think something totally different, I would love to hear from you as well. Before I go, there is also something that also struck me in the wake of all of this. And it was the fact that the likes of Colleen Hoover and, what's his name? Can't remember his name. The dude who played her love interest in the second guy, and all the other people who decided that it was okay to, throw Justin Baldoni under the bus. And I have a question, for Colleen Hoover. You at what point did you forget that you sold the rights of your movie of the book to Justin Baldoni? You sold the rights to him. And sometimes, this is just for me to say that sometimes when we act, when we behave, you need to be very careful that you are not just following the crowd. You're not just having a herd mentality. You need to be very, very careful about that. And why I say this is because that is the world we are living in right now. We live in a world of attention seeking and clickbaiting, and it's sad, and because of that, many of us are not ready or willing to do due diligence. And this is not even about them, but this is about, and I'm speaking to all of you who actually were in this movie with Bmake Lively, Colleen Hoover and whoever, the guy, and so on and so forth, and Ryan Reynolds. You all decide that one person is going to be your enemy just because. And I say this to say that we have to be very mindful, because it's because of we all fail to always, we are quick to forget as individuals. We're quick to forget that none of us is infallible. We are all, we're not perfect. No one is. And in the same way, Bmake Lively and Ryan Reynolds and all of them tried to blackball Justin Baldoni. The bad thing, it fell back on all of them. And that is what you have to be careful for. I'm going to tell you a quick story before I go. While I was doing my paramilitary service in Nigeria, that was, I can't remember, it was a long time ago. And so I made this friend of mine, and I was in and out, during my service here. I was in and out, because I had so much flexibility. So it was wonderful for me, and I really enjoyed it. I wouldn't lie to you. And so something happened, and for which I had no clue. So my friend began to date. We're all friends. We had this mutual, band, and we're all friends. We're all bound together, and we shared things together. And so unbeknownst to me, she began to have something with one of us, right? And I had no clue. And apparently she actually did hide it from me. And so on something happened, and from what I understood, it wasn't supposed to be that deep. It was just, they had an itch that they needed to scratch, and that was the understanding. And so when this dude now eventually gets another person, starts seeing someone else seriously, right? He becomes he's dating this other girl really seriously. And so one of these days, we were having, you know how it is, in your 20s. So we're having a get together, and all of us were back at home. And then, there were drinks, everything. And so he walks in with his girlfriend. Now, his very serious girlfriend, who even became his wife. And the next thing, I hear chaos everywhere. And she says, get out of my house, get out of my apartment. And I'm like, well, both of us share this apartment. Who is getting out of whose apartment? And she now says, and I look, and it's our friend, our mutual friend. And I'm like, dude, where are you going? Come. And I see his girlfriend. Both of you come back. And he says, no, he doesn't want any trouble. I said, what's going on? And I was totally in the dark. I was like, what's going on? And then someone now fills in the blanks for me. And then she gets upset with me, and she says something in the corridors of, I'm supposed to be blah, 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 blah. I'm like, dude, you never even told me there was something happening between both of you. I am just knowing about this today. That was number 1. 2, so when she tailored out the whole story, I asked her in very, very clear, sincere terms. I said, what was the agreement between both of you? You had an itch to scratch, and that was it. Was it supposed to go further? She said no. I'm like, so why are you upset? And you think that I should become his enemy because you are upset with him for something I was never in the beginning of, not to talk, and I'm just at the end of it, and you want me to now take sides? It didn't happen once, it didn't happen twice, it happened all the time. And I say this to say that you always have to have your wits about you. You must always have your wits about you. Ask questions. Be very, 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 very clear on what the beef is before you decide you want to beef. Because the harm was not done to you. The supposed harm was done to someone else. It's important to understand what has happened or what had transpired and what had been going on before you begin to throw and shade and, leave malicious remarks and say malicious things about people, right? So yeah, that's where it ends for me at this time. I'll see you guys in my next video. Have a wonderful, wonderful day. Bye.